So, here we have the Arverni of Gaul, where the famed Vercingetorix came from, and actually defeated Caesar on one occasion. I believe, I can't remember the name of the city now, though he defeated them at the Arverni's capital about a year before their final defeat at the Battle of Alesia. Now, in this game, the Arverni are a very much like a cycle charge focused faction. They are high damage, though to some degree they can grind, but they also do lack a bit of that survivability you would see in other factions. Um, their skirmish core is okay. It's not absolutely brilliant, though it is good. It is a good skirmish core. There's a fun unit in the Gallic Hunters, lightly armoured though, good for guerrilla deploying, got Stalk and the Snipe. Their cavalry is okay, it's not brilliant. The heavy horse is a good cav unit. The noble horse is an absolutely exceptional cav unit. They've got cost-effective cheap slingers, a half-decent javelin. Their spears are okay, they do get one of the best looters, Levy Freeman, who I'll get onto shortly. And overall, Arverni is a favourite among many players, though it does have its distinct weaknesses in the lower HP on their units, though they do make up for that once more, similar to the Aravaci in their higher damage output. The key to playing Arverni is cycle charging and getting a lot of that burst damage, and essentially just being annoying with skirmishers, because you won't win a skirmish fight really, but you can certainly be annoying to have your opposition are. And that's the quick summary, so we will meet them on the open blind. So we are here on the plains of Nemetachena, and we will take a look at each of their units individually, and you can see they even have a special dog unit. But we will kick it off with the Levy Freeman being the cheapest unit in their roster. For 210, the Levy Freeman are quite good. They've got decent armor, they've got 5 more HP than many other looters, they've got really good bonus versus large, they have decent defense, they can hold an area for 210 for a little bit. They won't hold forever because they can't kill anything. Their charge bonus is mediocre, their attack is abysmal, the weapon is actually kind of okay because I believe this is the weapon that's 7 armor piercing. Yeah, it does. So if they do let it hit, it will hurt, but don't expect them to get kills. They're good for eating Peeler due to their higher survivability than most other units. They do have 30 morale, they won't stay in the fight for as long as you might like, but they are one of the better low tiers due to good against Cav, their higher in survivability, their good melee defense, and the good bonus versus large. As for 210, bringing a couple of these guys surely won't be too bad of an investment. The Celtic Warriors are one of the best low tiers. They're for 350, got the Barber mid-tier sword, you've got good charge. It's like the RDI Merc Celtics, it's the same unit, but I'll go over it again in case anyone missed that. Their attack score is okay, the morale's good at 45, might even be higher than the Merc Celtic RDI actually, maybe. The armor and the health is good, melee defense is good, not as high as the Levy Freeman, though it is a sword unit, it's not a spear. Charge bonus is good. You want to cycle these being mixed in with the Chosen Swordman back there, and later your Oathsworn. But overall, a very, very solid low tier that can do a lot of damage very quickly, and it's not uncommon these guys to get 100 kills. On to the Spear Warriors, probably a lesser unit of the Arverni roster. They're not brilliant. They have lower end bonus versus large, they do have counter tactics, they are somewhat survivable, coming in at 490 I believe. 60 melee defense, they will hold, don't have any defensive formation, they have a bad spear, they have an okay attack, pretty good charge to be fair to them, okay morale. I wouldn't ever bring this unit because it's best just to bring 2 Levy Freeman, one to tank the charge, and the other to go in after. Against cavalry, because that's the only reason you'll bring a spear warrior. They're not that good. talking about multiplayer sieges, obviously. Campaign, do whatever the hell you like. The land battle, you might bring them, I'm not sure, but once again, don't take advice from me on land battles. But I would imagine these guys are not often used. But not much to say about these guys. They're not that good. Don't bring them. Moving on to a less than clothed unit, Naked Warriors. Overall, they are actually pretty good, though it's the price that isn't right. They cost 580, which doesn't sound that much when your chosen swords come in at 720. But these guys only have 10 armor and 55 HP, so poke them with a twig and they'll fall over. But the charge damage, the bonuses infantry, the good attack, because bonuses infantry applies to the weapon and attack, so they actually have, against infantry, 49 attack, and then 40 damage. Frenzy will get that charge bonus up into the lower 50s area. They are, I'll even show it to you right now. So, as you can see, it lowers their defense. It gives them actually a bit more attack, damage, but it gets 56. So on the charge, these guys will absolutely melt anything coming their way. Though they're vulnerable to cavalry and missiles. They're fun to play around with, but there are better options. There's other versions of these guys that are slightly worse, but significantly cheaper in Pontus and Galatia. If you're looking for a fun unit, bring them. But if you're in a competitive game or something like that, don't bring them. It's not worth it. We'll get off the Chosen Spearmen first, because they are cheaper, coming in at 690. Excellent melee defense, they've got defensive formation, they have counter tactics, not good weapon, okay charge bonus, good armor, good morale, lower than average health. Melee defense is exceptional, these guys will hold for a long time, but they're not necessarily going to kill much. They do come with javelins, but I wouldn't really bring the Chosen Spearmen. At most I'd bring one in a very, very, very specific situation. Maybe if they take a nomad, you'd bring one. But you are not going to bring these guys. Typically, they're not that good. Though, for whatever reason, if you're trying to win a game solely on time, which is the rarity, bring them, and I'm sure they will hold quite some time. That they are missing expert charge defense, so they're vulnerable to cycling from other factions, and they can be dumped due to their 55 HP. Moving on to Arverni's most common unit, the Chosen Swordsman. Coming at 720, they've got the Barb mid-tier sword, 62 defense, which is very high for a sword unit. They have good armor, good morale, good attack. A very good charge bonus at 27, though they have lower than average HP, so they will be dumped. If any, like, by people with fairly good knowledge of the game, they will be dumped due to their lower HP. 55 is considered to be the point of which a mid-tier is considered quote-unquote dumpable. They're, like, very good unit when they're not being shot up. They will kill a lot, though they are outshined by other Celtic mid-tiers from the Bowie Eye, the Sword Followers, but still a very nasty unit to face if you're playing a Hellenic faction and you can't get the range superiority. You're going to be in for a very, very tough day indeed. And moving on to the Spear Nobles, I quite like them actually. They have good health, exceptional morale, exceptional defense, a very good charge bonus, good attack score. They don't have the elite spear weapon. It may look like it, but you will find that this weapon only has 6 armor piercing instead of 8. They have shield screen, not a good formation. Have counter tactics is good. Expert charge defense when in shield screen. And these guys can kill. I've used them just beaming around. They can kill quite a lot on the charge, though they are heavily, heavily outshined by the Oathsworn. But if you're just doing a casual game with friends and you want to bring something different, no one's going to expect the Spear Noble. The Spear Noble is I wouldn't say very good, though it is a good unit. Barb Elite Spears are kind of underrated, but they're just outshined for the most part. So if you want to bring them, you can, but I wouldn't bring more than one. They do come with Peeler as well. Oathsworn, arguably the best Barb Elite in the game. exceptional stats across the board. You can't dump these guys easily. They can grind, they can cycle, they can do whatever you like. They have exceptional attack and damage. They have headhunt, shield wall, high charge, high defense, high armor, high health, high morale, coming in at 1,340. This is almost always going to be your gen option. You can bring one or two of these on attack, one on defense, typically, because you want to go for the mid tiers. They're very, very good. Not many units can actually stand up to the Oathsworn. You'd need something like a Thracian Noble, provided it's not shot up, or something like a Noble Fighter or a Stunning Noble to stand up to these guys. They are very, very, very strong. Highly recommend. And I believe I've got the price on Spear Nobles. Quick disclaimer, they're 1,130, so they are quite cheaper. But the Oathsworn is just too good to not bring, really. They are exceptionally good. Now we're going to start off with the Celtic Slingers. We'll go price-wise. Celtic Slingers, average Slingers. They're 25 armor. They're good, they're 280, they're not going to kill a huge amount, but they're very good with just softening up the enemy before you launch your high charge bonus mid-tiers or Oathsworn at them, or even Celtic Warriors. They are exceptional in just, if people dump them, it's not a huge deal. There's less ammo on your mid-tiers. They can get a good few kills. 25 armor and the shield means they will survive a little bit, though don't expect them to be the be-all and end-all unit unless you're facing a faction like Lusitani or Thrace. But they're much slow burn unit, damage over time. Celtic Skirmishers, not worth it. They're not. There's a better unit. Their only qualities is the 32 damage, the 40 armor and 50 health, meaning they can take a bit of punishment, but the 25 morale means they'll just run away. They have abysmal melee stats of 350, just honestly get a Celtic Warrior unless you're once again up against a faction that needs to be shot up. But you have a better option for that anyway. Don't bring these guys. I'm sorry, but don't. But bring the Celtic Youths. Whilst they do have less morale and health, they get increased melee stats to that of just above a regular Peltist for 30 less. Whilst they do sacrifice survivability, both of them do get the flaming shot, they have the same damage. The Celtic Youths are slightly slower fire rate, but I'd always bring the Celtic Youths. They're cheaper, they fulfill the same function, they're better in melee. Bring the Celtic Youths. Moving on to the fun unit, the Gallic Hunters. With quick reload, fire shot, stalk and snipe, meaning they can be hidden or shooting. They've guerrilla deploy for deploying siege equipment. They're slightly better than most archers in melee, meaning they can win the melee against other archers, which in a few games can win you it. They have 150 range, 7 shots per minute, 8 or 9, I believe, when I hit this. Once it decides to take for 8, yep. Auto triggering the same build. Huh. Didn't even know that was there. Yeah, for 450, it is quite expensive, though you are going to be getting like a very fun unit to play around with, a very annoying one in the right situations, though they are, like, a hail of wind will kill them. Like, they are very, very, very fragile, but they can certainly get their value. Very fun unit, highly recommend. Almost quintessential attack, really. The dogs. I really have mixed feelings. If you want to have a fun time, I say that. If you want to like have a fun meme around, then the dogs can be experimental. They are not good. I do not recommend dogs. They're not good. They will die very easily. They're only good against like the very uttermost light horse archers. Like, they are indiscriminate in what they attack. So if I went over there, they don't really kill like slave slingers. Skirmish, like light horse archers, they'll kill. They'll kill lightly armored horse archers like the Merxifians or the Amazonians. Though the handlers themselves aren't great. one or two volleys, they're gone. Though they're only 480, 490, something like that. I can't remember. I don't ever bring them, so I don't really recommend them. Though if you're looking to move around, bring them. Light horse. Their only redeeming quality is the frenzied charge to make them unbreakable. Their offensive stats are quite good. Their morale's okay. The survivability is completely awful. They do like no damage on the charge due to them being light. They do have Peeler, they do have Javelins, they can throw at the enemy, so there's something. Though, I wouldn't recommend bringing these guys, they cost 450. You can bring 2 Levy Freeman, nor Celtic, or something like that. Don't bring them. Not worth it. They have some impressive looking offensive stats, but don't be fooled. They won't kill stuff. Moving on to a better cavalry unit, we have the Heavy Horse. I do recommend this unit. It's got good survivability, good morale, the frenzied charge, good overall offensive stats. I've used this several times to kill even armored archers like Syrians. Something that the enemy won't expect because they're thinking, oh, Arverni, infantry, they're going to just spam infantry. But bringing the occasional heavy horse, or even if you're expecting a sally, a heavy horse just to quickly plug your lines, sort of like the Kill Tiberian Cav from Arverni previously covered. Except these guys are heavy, so they'll do more damage on the charge. Very, very good unit for 700. Sure, you can get 2 Celtic Warriors for them, but if you want to do something a little unexpected, or if you really need it, because if you're against like Armenia or something, then go straight for it, because these guys will do just fine as long as they're supported properly. Now moving on to arguably one of the best melee cav in the game, the Noble Horse, with excellent morale, encourage, excellent weapon. As you look at that, it's higher than most. Just 7 armor piercing. It's got excellent charge and defense. Phenomenal attack. These guys will pay for themselves in many situations. Though you are sacrificing an Oathsworn, but once again, it depends on what you're facing. Whether you bring a Noble Horse, they are incredibly, incredibly good. Don't underestimate them. Very heavy melee cav. They will trounce on anything that they come across. Not many can beat them. Extremely good units. Highly recommend if you need that extra bit of flexibility in your army, or you're facing a faction that will sally on you, like Parthias, Harbour, Armenia. Overall, Arverni, the key takeaways: Chosen Swordsman, cycle them. Celtic, cycle them. Their spears aren't really worth it, except for the Levy Freeman. And if you're trying to have fun, Spear Nobles. Their missiles are subpar, though not pathetic. Like, Gallic Hunters, Celtic Youths, and Celtic Slingers are all good units for the price. If the Gallic Hunters are a little bit overpriced. Don't bring the Celtic Skirmishers. Dog's not really worth it. Oathsworn is brilliant. And ignore the Light Horse. So overall, very fun faction. A very favourite among many, and I can see why. But just remember, their spears aren't good. The dogs aren't good. The Light Horse, never bring. And that's it. We will return doing Athens next, I believe. So a fully fledged Hellenic faction. Bye bye.